The following presentation may be too mature for some audiences. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
Freaking Rion, you shithead, you joined me. Well, no, you passed me up in the penthouse. Dang it, that podcast winner dinner was going to be mine. And you little poop, you just had to be so good in your stats and your analysis. You leapfrogged me, and now I have to share a room with Jared. Thanks a lot.
Welcome everyone to Stay on the Republic podcast. I'm your host Luis, and in today's episode, we're going to be talking about two games that happened here in this past week. First one was the dramatic penalty kick shootout in what made Jared Mazzola the penalty hero in this case there, with a few blocks, and we'll look at those in the highlights, which thankfully we have highlights for that game. So that's the game against Loudoun United. So we move on to the semifinals, where we are now going to be traveling out to Rhode Island in search for that final game ticket there. Of course, we'll also talk about last Saturday's unfortunate 1-0 loss at El Paso, which unfortunately three of us here on the podcast weren't able to watch it. We did see like the goal, but YouTube doesn't have the highlights for that. So unfortunately, we won't have that on the video. But thankfully, here on the podcast, Jared did see it. So he'll be telling us more about that game and what went on there. And of course, we'll talk about our upcoming opponent, New Mexico, go over a podcast winner dinner, see how things are going there, because a few points are given out and standings changed a little bit there. So we'll definitely be talking more about that. And of course, the announcement that happened early last week, which is the groundbreaking ceremony. And Sharon will tell us a little bit more about that and how that went. And we'll actually also on the video share the renderings that they provided of the new stadium, more views, and kind of our thoughts on that here as the podcast goes on. But let's go ahead and introduce our team here. We got a full house as usual. First, let's go all the way over to the city of Kilgore, Texas with Jared. How's it going, Jared?
Just getting closer and closer to my flight out there to see our boys take on Phoenix, but also watching these matches closely. It's been a hellacious week for Republic FC, to say the least, having to play 3 matches in a span of a week. So we're going to break down both Wednesday's win and the Saturday's end of the streak. So we'll go into that more detailed. But of course, with these Warm Texas nights, you got to have some Dr. B from HEB. It's a cousin of Dr. Pepper, I'm sure, since it's from the same state, but anything to keep cooling down.
Oh, yeah. In all likelihood, probably even the same Dr. Pepper, right? Just labeled differently, because that's how they do it usually, right? It's just different label, same product. All right. Well, up next, let's go over to the city of Elk Grove with Sharon. How's it going, Sharon?
Hey, it's going okay. I've recovered from my potty mouth earlier, so that's all good news. But I will warn you, that might crop back up, Rion. I don't know if he can hear me. I hope he can. But dang it, you're so good, Rion. And it was a great week. It's been a good weekend. I'm feeling pretty chipper and very salty.
Well, he actually can hear you, so let's go ahead and have Rion here on the podcast. Welcome, Rion. How are you?
Oh man, things are going great in this penthouse. You know, I really love what I've done with this place. It's so relaxing. It's just so nice. You know, can we just end the competition right now? Forget the rest of the season. Let's just end it right here and just call it as it is. But yeah, things are going great. Can't wait to talk more Republic with y'all. Happy to be back.
What's behind my hand?
Is it a bird?
Maybe.
No, it was a peace sign. Come on, you ought to know me better.
Oh, 2 points. That's for me next week, right?
Oh, gee. I love it. Anyhow, last year we picked on Luis mercilessly. This year, you're the new kid on the block, dude. You're getting the grief. Anytime you do good things, you got to come back down to earth.
Or I can just keep flying into the sky where I can get my trophy, you know, get the win.
just because you had a birthday and just because you went to fancy places, Mr. Fancy, you've now earned the moniker. So Chris McAnich and all them, they think because I have one little lonely VIP ticket, they say, oh, you get to hang out with fancy people. They ain't seen nothing because they haven't met you 100%, Mr. Fancy.
Yeah, that's true. But, I'm going to be sitting here on my high golden throne, watching everybody else fight for second
Golden?
place in
Really?
this competition. So, yeah.
You couldn't do platinum? I mean, come on. There's somebody else that likes golden toilets, and, I think you should just go platinum.
Maybe
think
next
about
year.
that.
Maybe next year.
Next year.
Well, I have faith that this trophy right here is actually going to stay right here.
Oh!
So that's all I'm going to say. You guys remember Colorado Springs when they were champions? Go back and look at that season and remember where they were at. So it ain't over till the last playoff game happens.
Well, you never know. It may end up taking its first out-of-state trip if things go correctly.
Well, Lottie freaking da. Look who's getting the spicy up there.
We'll go through, podcast winner dinner here later on the podcast as usual. But yeah, things are interesting on that contest there. But before we talk about the two games, let's go ahead and give glosses of gratitude, and then we'll talk about the games.
So I have a huge one. It goes out to the club, Michael Donato, the tribe, the whole entire shebang for organizing the groundbreaking and for allowing a limited number of peons, such as myself, to participate and view the ceremony live. Big, huge thank you to Connor for running it. He was the MC for the entire program, did a great job. Everybody there, who was there was just so stoked. Just really a huge gloss of gratitude to our club for actually getting to this point, and to the Wilton Rancheria for getting us to this point, and Kevin Nagel for all that he's done, because he's been a huge one. And it was big. It was big time. Everybody felt it. That feeling is going to get transmitted now, time after time. There'll be more. And also to the tribe for sitting down with their employees at Sky River to explain the entire meaning and the impact of what Wilton Rancheria is doing in Sacramento with the stadium. Apparently they did just recently do that with their employees with the other members of the tribe, so that the tribe understands what it means to own a soccer stadium and a soccer team. So this is pretty cool. Jared.
All right, so I'll go ahead and fire off a couple of glosses of gratitude here and make it quick. Definitely big glosses of gratitude to Republic FC and Wilton Rancheria and the remaining ownership group for getting us to the point of this groundbreaking. It's finally happening after so many years. I cannot wait to set foot on it in 2027. Of course, I'm going to be rocking the Indomitable and indigenous merchandise, of course, shirt and scarf and everything like that. Also, big glosses of gratitude going out to my local Sonic, who finally brought back the Junior Cheeseburger Deluxe for the $1.99 menu that helped me fuel my appearance tonight. So definitely going to be working good as I can. And also to Tower Bridge Battalion for coming out to the groundbreaking as well. We saw them with pictures of them taking shovel to ground as well. So that was definitely important. Glad they were able to go from there. That's what I've got right now. Rian, how about you?
Yeah, I have a couple golossos here. I recently went on vacation in the state of Hawaii, so just a big golosso to Hawaii in general. I fall in love with that place every time I go, so it's just a great place to be. Another golosso to the staff of the kitchen, the restaurant out in downtown area. They kept their Michelin star. It's well worth the trip. If you can go. I highly recommend it. And then one more golosso to some sports that are returning at this time of the year. College football is making its appearance again, and the Premier League is coming back. My teams are off to a bad start. Stanford lost to Hawaii on a last-second field goal. UC Davis, their game was postponed. So, off to a bad start there. Chelsea are doing fine. But yeah, this is going to be Chelsea's year. I can feel it. And then golossos, Luis?
Yeah, my main goal of gratitude today is just as Sharon mentioned it earlier to the team for sharing the groundbreaking ceremony. It's something we've been waiting for a really long time. So the fact that we finally get to see a shovel out there in that lot is a big deal to us. And not only that, but to also see what we'll be seeing here shortly, which is the video that was supplied of the renderings of how it could potentially look like, and just seeing all that atmosphere. Just I'm sure gets us really excited. And I know a lot of you, including myself, already put your deposit down for one of the seats that will be there. And if you haven't yet, do so, because I don't think you're going to be able to get a ticket if you wait and try and get it through a general admission. Everyone's going to want to be at that first game. It's history in the making. So go and leave your deposit ASAP if you want to be there on that day in 2027. So that's all I got. All right. Well, before we talk about the game, how about we go back to last week, to Monday specifically, and what was the groundbreaking ceremony? I know you were there, Sharon. So go ahead and just tell us more about what it was like to be out there and just what it looked like being there at the Railyards. Oh, I think you're on mute again.
If you could read my lips just then, that's why it was rated M for mature. You get frustrated when you find out that you've muted yourself and then you forget to unmute. So it was actually pretty cool. We were all treated to a shuttle bus ride over to the location, and if you looked at social media, you saw that they had done some really wonderful preparations. They put yes, thank you for pulling that up. They put all the VIPs in seats, and there was a name tag on every single seat, so you knew exactly where you were sitting when you got there. And we were given our scarves. Everybody got a special Railyards scarf, which I've heard that they're going to make available to pretty much anybody. That's my understanding. Not 100% sure, but that's what they said. If you didn't get one, you'll be getting one at these upcoming matches. And then the next part was, they told us where we would be sitting at. We were standing at these round tables that were kind of under a canopy. Mind you, it was blazes hot. And here are all these VIPs with suit jackets on. I felt for them. But, the beauty of it all was we were all mingling in the very beginning and, kind of talking together about it. And just like you could feel there was like a buzz and an energy that I have felt maybe one other time before, maybe two other times when they announced the MLS, when Stu Holden came and we were in the bank building and we were all there just chanting and being excited way back in whatever year that was, 2022. And it felt a little bit like that kind of a buzz, but more mature, so to speak, because this one we know is going to happen. It's not an if. It is literally a when. And the chairman and Chris Franklin, his COO of the tribe, stood and talked with myself and a couple of my friends that were standing there and explained everything prior to the ceremony. They came into our little section. Well, it was shady over where we were. And we just had this most wonderful conversation. And then they posed with the Hella Sacramento scarf with, myself and Rosa and Nicole. It was just like everybody was just regular people. Nobody was above another. And that's how it should feel, when you're dealing with sports and building community. But the Wilton Rancheria made darn sure during the speaking and the presentations that everybody's included in this building of community and building of this asset, and that it's not only benefiting, the soccer community, but also the tribe and also the people that live right in our region. And it's almost, it was so powerful, the presentations that were given, and granted, they fed us. There was like a continental breakfast and a coffee machine. I mean, I felt honored to be there. I mean, I felt like, oh my gosh, it should be somebody else that should be standing there. But, I was there. Rosa was there. Chris was there. Mike, the TBB board. And then, there was a few others. It was nice seeing Adam Moffat and Rob McAllister. Gosh, I love their voices. Rob McAllister has the best broadcast voice, I'll tell you. But at the end of the day, the presentation was made, the groundbreaking was done over and over and over. You saw like multiple photos of multiple people. My favorite one, of course, besides the very first one with the, Tribe and Kevin Nagel and Todd Donovan, those folks and the mayor, was when the entire staff from Sac Republic got up, and it was a huge amount, and they were given kudos and they were thanked. And then they all got to be part of, like one of the photos, but they waited until after TBB had their photo taken, and they literally waited to do the staff one. And it was just so special for me to see that, because I know what it takes to be part of that organization. And to be recognized that way was probably one of the most special things. Now, moving on, they did show a video, and it's the one that is being shown right now on the screen that Luis has thrown up. This was the video that was showing and that they played. And it was just so moving to see what the renderings were going to look like. And of course, we know the age-old argument, where's the shade? The answer to that is the games are in the evening. It should be okay. We have 8 p.m. start times during the summer hot months, and we'll live. And then when we expand, that's when the shade comes. So they, they're doing things in a very calculated manner with a 12,000 seat stadium initially to just meet the current need. But the features that are going to be at this location and eventually in the whole Railyards area, because there's a lot of talk and a lot of buzz about other things that are going to be happening in the Railyards, the features that they're going to present for us and that will be available for us is going to be breathtaking and groundbreaking. I just hope they freaking give Roro a statue, but it's up to them what they want to do. This is sovereign land. So I know they've got ideas. They're not saying everything, but I know there's some wonderful ideas still also being cooked. So I would say stay tuned. Let this whole thing be unveiled for us, and enjoy your first season in 2027 sitting. And it'll be clunky. You know how starts are with respect to this sort of stuff. It's going to feel clunky the first season. They'll get things ironed out. We just have to all be super patient and just along for the ride. Enjoy this part of your life. Enjoy this part of being part of this indomitable club, and a partner in the experience. So that day will go down is one, unless I lose my brain. That's one of those super high points in my life. And then at each game now, there's going to be a lot more buzz during games, and there's going to be a lot more talk over the next year and a half. It's going to be fabulous.
Oh yeah, no, that's going to do a lot for the city. I mean, that's why we've been asking for it for a while, right? We were seeing here in the different renderings that they've shown that they're going to have some really spectacular concerts, right? I mean, taking over all that. Of course, I'm sure they're going to pick the dates for those concerts, and I'm sure other precautions are going to be taken. We won't have the issue we've had at Cal Expo, but see, there you go. There's the shot I was just talking about. But yeah, no, I'm really glad that you're able to attend, that they treat everyone well. And you're right. I mean, this is one of those special moments in the life of any fan, right? I mean, any fan that's out there that's been with the team for a while, or any new fans that will now be able to go to the stadium because it'll be in downtown, or that will maybe find out more about the team because it's in a more prominent location, and because of all the buzz that's going around, are going to now be introduced to the team. So I have no doubt that what they show in the renderings is what we will see often, especially in that first season, right? Is like a packed stadium.
And they've hired a couple really good outfits. They've hired one of the best, construction crews and best consultants. So they're sparing no money. If they've got this thing dialed in. Anyhow, I do want to talk about the matches, but this was groundbreaking. And as the chairman said, this is more than a groundbreaking. This is a homecoming. If you know anything about the history of the Wilton Rancheria and all the tribes, the confluence of these rivers was their trading grounds. This is their community. This is where they lived. So it was real special to hear them talk about their past.
Yeah. Any thoughts, Rian, Jared, before we talk about the games?
All right. Well, being Native American as well, I mean, this is just this is definitely a moving moment. And I know it may have been mentioned previously, but that particular day was picked for a reason, given that 67 years ago, on that day of the groundbreaking, that the Wilton Rancheria band had been federally unrecognized. But to finally have that recognition back again, this is just the start of reclaiming what was lost from us. Us being Native Americans. Unfortunately, I'm not part of the Wilton Rancheria tribe, but nonetheless, I mean, family is family when it comes to indigenous folks. So I am just proud to see that this is happening in our day, and to have it happen in such a positive manner, that we are being stewards of the land. And once again, with this groundbreaking, to show that we may have been down tough times, but going at this point, it's nothing but up for not only the Wilton Rancheria, the band of Native Americans, but also all indigenous folks everywhere, especially in Australia, where this kind of thing has gone even further, but nowhere near as close as what we've gotten to. So this is definitely a great moment, and I look forward to attending there in 2027, especially if there is any type of land acknowledgement, which I'm sure there ought to be in 2027 once we open up the stadium.
So on that note, Jared, there was a discussion by the chairman that he hopes and he asks the other tribes in California to join in this endeavor, or an endeavor like this, and that he was very clear that this is not a competition for who can do it better. He wants, if other tribes in the nation choose to take the next step, to use what Wilton Rancheria is doing as a model, or to make even something more. But he made it really clear, we're not competing, we are joining together, all the forces, all the tribes, and he's working with other tribal nations to see if they want to be part of this or their own or whatever. But it's kind of really cool to see that level of it's almost like Sacramento. You know how the Sacramento foodie scene and the growers and all that, the restaurants, they help each other. They don't compete against each other. They help each other, and same with the brewers, and same with the winemakers, and same with the growers. Everybody seems to be in it for each other, which builds the best community and the best fabric for just a holistic community that cares for each other. And that's where the tribe probably has always been like that. And we're learning, from them and from each other. But it's just, it speaks of the generosity and the big heartedness of the people in the Valley and in the state of California, and as a whole, in a way. Rian.
Yeah, I just have a quick thought. I'm still of the camp of I want to be in the stadium. I want to be in the press booth and to believe that the stadium is actually here. But there's still like more hope in me now, seeing these renderings, seeing the statements from Wilton Rancheria, from the team, from the city of Sacramento, that they will get this done. I'm still of the camp that, I want to see the physical, stadium fully fleshed out. But it's great to see that we're moving along in this process, and that it looks amazing. And I can only dream of 2027 already.
Yeah, no, bro. Of course, we're hoping that 2027 is when it can be open, because we're all eager to move in already, get to experience a match there at the new stadium, and not have to deal with any Cal Expo things and concerts and events that inevitably get scheduled the day before or day after usually a game, right? So that should be great. So Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and move on then to talk about last week's game. It's crazy that it's been a week already since that game. We were just thinking, when was that game, right? And that was actually last Wednesday. Lots happened that game, right? Against Loudoun United. I want to hear all y'all's thoughts, but I gotta say, I felt like it was one of those games where, yes, we ended up getting the win via the penalty kicks, but I really feel like Loudoun United deserved it more. But of course, we know that the sport, it's how it is, right? It's not whoever has the more opportunities, but whoever can get the winning goal, which in this case was the winning penalty kick goals. But uh, we move on, semifinal match. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Let's first go with you, Sharon. What you think of the midweek game against Loudoun?
Sure. Yeah, no, and I watched it. So I was incredibly happy to see that who we started on the pitch with the special recognition of Jared Mazzola, Cup Magic. So glad he was in goal for that, because it seems like he has the je ne sais quoi, whatever it is, he has this like unusual magic in the cage, for most of our matches here in this Jägermeister Cup. And then to see our starting back three, it's like we came out knowing that we were going to have to defend. And our possession numbers weren't the same as Loudoun's. There was a lot of things that were different between our two teams. But we had opportunities. We just didn't convert during the match. I mean, there were so many close calls. There were so many times where it looked like, we're gonna get this. We're gonna get around the corner. We're gonna get this wonderful cut inside. But at the end of the day, we started with the right people. We ended with the right people, resting some of our key players with hopes of El Paso. But if you have to think about it, they traveled on Monday, the day that we were doing the groundbreaking ceremony was exactly when the team was in the air on Monday. So they literally played Saturday, had a breather on Sunday, traveled with heavy legs, because it takes days to recover. They traveled with heavy legs across country to Loudoun, had to probably do a small training session the day they got there on Monday, and then a light training session again on Tuesday, going over tactics and all of those things. And then, to be thrown into a game where it was humid as hell and hotter than hell. And, and here these guys had just played and then they're playing. Neil he's going for the cup. We had talked about this on our last podcast of what would Neil be going for? Is he going for the cup or is he going for league? And I think most of us were like, well, he's going to go for both naturally. But it was more, I got that satisfaction of knowing that he wants this cup more than anything else. But based on who he started against, who they started, we were lucky, if not anything else. Although Robo will tell you it wasn't just luck, that it actually was, there was a lot of factors, that they actually played well to not detract from our playing ability. And Rian will back us up because he's going to talk a little bit about some of the stats in a minute. But, that there were really bright moments with, of course, when we had to go to PKs, I had confidence. I knew Jared was going to stop. I knew from just knowing how that man plays, I knew he was going to make saves during the game, which he did. He made some two extremely brilliant saves that were like gasp. But when he stepped onto the pitch for that PK and his little, like, go ahead and talk all you want, whatever, or shut up. I don't know what he was doing with that little motion during after he saved that. I think it was the first or the second save. It was almost, it was just more beautiful than anything else. So I had all the confidence in the world that Jared was going to be Jared, and I'm happy. Oh, there's a commercial. Anywho, that being said, glad we had the lineup we had. Glad we had the opportunities we had. Yeah, we didn't win it in full, regulation, but thank God for our PK takers and our shooters and Chris Pirano's. The winning shot by Chris was just phenomenal.
Okay, so yeah, let's go over this. We're looking at a replay right now where, honestly, I go back a little bit, Luis, where Jared Mazzola comes out of the box and kind of tackles the Loudoun attacker. I was surprised he didn't come away with a card with this one, but
He
in
got
term-
ball.
He
He
got
got
Yeah,
ball.
he did.
Really?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was risky,
Shoot.
but barely. If you look at the
They
replay really slow,
reviewed it.
barely.
Over and over and over, they reviewed it, and even Adam, everybody, even the ESPN announcer, I mean the home field announcer, said, "Yep, that he touched the
Yeah.
ball."
Okay, fair enough. I just know there was some discourse from the Loudoun community about that tackle specifically,
Of
but
course,
to your point, Luis, you can argue that Loudoun was a bit unlucky to not come away with a goal in open play. They fired 22 shots against Sacramento, which is the most Sacramento has seen this season so far. That's including Open Cup. That's including, the regular season. That's the most shots Sacramento has faced. They came up with an XG of 1.19, so they were expected a goal with these chances, but they just weren't able to come away with it. Jared Mazzola came up with some great saves even before the penalty shootout. Early on in the match, he had a wonderful save, and even late on, like a couple saves on Drew Skundrich. Loudoun again were unlucky. There was a chance where it hit the post like late on the match, which was crazy to see. But yeah, Mazzola gets man of the match honors, 8.5 on FOTMob, highest rating between both sides. Solid performance from the keeper, solid performance from the defense. And way to sweat it out for the Republic with their shooters. The Republic, at this point in the competition, it's survive and advance, do whatever you can to do that. And Sacramento did just enough on the night to get past Loudoun.
Well, once again, the council comes through. I mean, both Jared Mazzola and, of course, Jared Timmer just putting it out there, just defending the best way they can, and it showed to the fact that they had to go to PKs for it. And, yeah, that play with Mazzola was a little dicey, but technically there was ball involved, so no call at all. So that definitely helped out in our favor. And, of course, Jared Mazzola, the magic mustache has leveled up to the mythical facial coiffure by how he worked the magic in the PKs. Blocking. Just maybe one went through, but ultimately our shooting technique was far above Loudoun's in the PK, but it was definitely a slug match between the two of these during regulation time. Ultimately, with these rules of the Jägermeister Cup, there has to be a winner through PKs. Thankfully, it was us. We move on to the semifinals, and that's going to be taking place next month. Excellent match. Would love to see more of these, preferably with us winning in the PKs.
Yeah, no, it's awesome to know that we have two goalkeepers that, once a penalty kick shootout happens, they're ready for the challenge, right? And if I'm not mistaken, the last penalty kick shootout was back in 2022, right? Open Cup semifinals. I think that was the last official penalty kick shootout. And y'all remember what happened then, right, with Danny. And now Jared steps up to the plate and does the same. Yeah, and sure enough, I mean, he did. I think maybe this first one that we're watching on the video, I think that's one that actually was scored on us. But I think this is the one. Yeah, that's the one where he actually almost got a hand to it, right? If you guys could see there, I mean, he was so close to blocking even that one, but unfortunately, the shot had some strength to it. But he was close to potentially even having more saves there, right? So, yeah.
Gonna chime in here a little bit. Luis, I understand that you blocked this out from your memory, but the last shootout we had was the end of the playoffs last season against Las Vegas.
It was a shoot. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
that's right. And I was there.
good
Why
point.
didn't I chime in? Boy, I'm getting old. Sorry. I was there.
Well,
I understand why you blocked that out from your memory too, Sharon.
Oh man, and that was like the sad day of the sad days, because that was the last day, that Mark Briggs was, basically in charge of the squad. Was that day, and yeah, so.
But at least Luis recognized the last time we were in PKs and won. So,
so there's
so
that.
You gotta keep it positive.
Yeah. So the announcers were shocked, and I think I think Rob McAllister and Adam Moffat were a little bit shocked that AJ Edwards just stepped up and rifled one home. I think they didn't expect him to be a shooter and to be just like so spot on. That man is so cocky. If you look what he did after he took his shot, he literally kind of walked towards the keeper, kind of like fake air bumped him with his chest. And it roll up. Oh, I know we're watching the Chris Pirano ones, but if you roll it back to AJ, and if they show the post kick, he kind of it's interesting what he does. Look, boof! I'm air bumping you, keeper. I owned you. He's literally staring the dude down after the dude missed. You could see. Look at him. He is that. That is so AJ. That is classic AJ, and that's the AJ that my sister, me, we all love that AJ, because you want that guy on your team. You don't want him against you because he'll get in your freaking head. And so I love it. I loved it. When I saw that, it was like, yes, classic AJ.
Let's remember, this is the same dude that bust out the grid,
Yes.
the gritty, when he got his first goal of the season. So I love seeing this AJ. We need more of him. Get him in a good scoring position. Let him be him. With each of these goals.
Look at that. He's like chesting. It's like, I love that. Oh my God. That can get you a yellow card sometimes, taunting, that kind of stuff. But you know what? He didn't have a yellow, so let him get a yellow.
Yeah, plus it's the cup, right? Like, I mean, I'm sure Ria might even mention hold up, you can't get that many yellows, because I'm sure there's maybe like a 2 yellow card in the USL Cup playoff rule or something.
There's no yellow card accumulation in this tournament.
Oh, okay,
No.
perfect then. Hey, get all the yellow. Well, just don't get a red card, but go ahead and get a yellow card.
So Chris Pirano left foots a shot here to close it up.
Or this is Michelle.
Oh, this is Michelle. We don't want to watch the miss. He missed. No.
No, Michelle had a good shot.
That's right.
Actually, that was a well placed shot right there.
Yeah, that's right. It was Corey Bennett that missed. That's right.
Yeah,
Can I just
could have been
say-
shot better, I think, for Corey.
I just want to say 2 defenders as 2 of our 5 PK shooters. That's not something normally you see. So it's great to see them have the confidence and have the confidence in themselves to know that they might not be the choice for attacking, but they have the confidence in themselves to know that they can slot away a penalty.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I mean we know that Nick Ross is a great penalty kick shooter, right? He had a goal not that long ago, right, in league. So
right,
it's
but
nice
to have
that,
Michelle and AJ, 2 outside back defenders, take PKs and make it, sweet. Just goes to show you how versatile we are.
Yeah. So that was that. Again, in a game where we thank God that we can actually go to penalty kicks and see that, because I feel if we would have gone the extra time, that would have been really difficult, because they were really on us the last few minutes. I don't know how everyone was feeling, but I was really hoping that we would not see the 85th minute curse, because there was a few moments where it felt like that was going to happen. And yeah, we thank Jared for being in goal and saving us from that last minute curse.
Yeah. So you guys, true confessions, and it takes 2 seconds. Because the word Jägermeister kept popping up, throughout this whole match, I literally, if I had a step stool, I would have found it. But I have some really old bottles of Jägermeister that my dad gave me years and years and years ago. I mean, years ago, 2000 something, way back. And because I couldn't reach it, it's like, I'm not drinking right now much. And I was like, but I so wanted a Jägermeister. I wanted a Jägermeister shot, and it didn't happen. So if anybody wants to buy me a Jägermeister shot someday, maybe around, September 10th, I'm game.
Well, hopefully a couple days later on that Saturday, we may have a couple more, especially with me getting in there and should we win. So I don't know. Should I pack my Republic FC shot glass that my sister-in-law got me?
You might. And you might just take those little nips, put them in your pockets. They're not checking any. Sorry. Oh my God, did I just say that? If anybody from Calico Security is listening, yeah, don't. Stick them in your pockets.
Yeah. No,
Keep one in your pockets. A napkin, just a napkin.
Yes, napkins and candied mints in case we ever feel the need for mint. And not anything else, nothing liquid, not at all. No.
Nothing that tastes like licorice or anything. Nah, nope.
No, it's water.
Nope.
It's water, though. Remember,
It's
it's just a bottle of water, because it'll probably be hot. So.
It's Sacramento County water. That explains the color.
Yeah. Rion, have you ever had a Jägermeister shot?
Not that I remember, no.
Oh my God! You know what?
Oh, we're taking them to the tailgate.
Tailgate before you go up into the press box, dude.
I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised Sharon didn't mention we're gonna give him that before he gives his predictions later on. But I mean that can always be the.
Put yourself on mute and turn your camera off and go find a shot of something or three. And then come back and think about your predictions, okay?
Okay, cool. And if I go 5 for 5, I'm going to continue doing that then.
Oh!
I think I'm going to go take a shot myself right now. And if anybody's craving a shot because we keep talking about alcohol shots and, not so much food yet. But anyhow.
Not yet, but I think in the week, what is it? Next week the week before the Jared's game, we'll probably ask Jared what he's looking forward to eating at the stadium, right? Maybe so we could bring him food.
Well, maybe not so much at the stadium, but just in general in Sacramento. Yes, I do have to get Jim Boys sometime while I'm out in Sacramento. Maybe even swinging by Doco and getting a 6-pack before. Well, probably have to be the night before. But also, while I'm out there, I'm definitely going to be hitting up Bruxy and Davis. Probably that Saturday, game day, morning time, swing by there, get some match day breakfast. So definitely be hitting that up on the way back from San Francisco on that Saturday morning.
All right. Well, there you go, Yo. There's your state of the food segment there. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on to last Saturday's game. And as I mentioned earlier, unfortunately, we don't have a highlight reel because I don't know what happened to USL. They decided, we're not going to highlight this game, which, for us, it sucks because we can't display it here and we can't go over the goal here. But hey, I'm not complaining, right? It wasn't a good game because they beat us. So, at least there was that, but. Also, as I mentioned earlier, Jared was the only one here on the podcast who actually watched the game live. So, Jared, tell us more about what happened in El Paso on Saturday.
Well, much like I called in the previous episode, we knew the luck was going to be against us. One, because of playing against on a baseball field. And two, because we've never had that best of a luck playing in El Paso because of said baseball field. And unfortunately, I ended up being right about that. El Paso ended up getting the early goal. We've tried left and right to attack, but nothing stuck, unfortunately. We just could not get over that hump that was placed on us early on in the game. We certainly tried towards the last 10, 15 minutes, but came out unlucky. This ended up becoming our first loss since late June. So we definitely had a great streak going on of being unbeaten. But, the fatigue of playing 3 matches within 1 week, it started to add up. And you could tell with some of the, not lethargic, but just a little bit of slow movement from some of the players. Understandable, of course, even with some of the rotation. But, this did not turn out to be a great match at all. Thankfully, El Paso is only tied with us in points. They have not taken over. So with this lineup, we know there was definitely going to be some rotation between this past Wednesday's match and this match. So, it ended up having to be a double-edged sword as far as this rotation goes. We did see Roro come in for a little bit. That certainly helped electrify some of the match. But it also seemed like there were quite a few takedowns, on the pitch. So it was a little bit nippy, but still, I mean, hard paced, and this was just one of those matches where the opposition got out too early. We couldn't really make up for it. Thankfully, there wasn't an 85th minute curse on this, but we're kind of hoping one for a reverse. But you know what? We just take the loss. We move on. We focus on New Mexico this coming Saturday.
Yeah.
So I do have to give props to Grace Ogata Butler, who works for Sac Republic. She and others probably contributed. I'm not sure. Did a really good match recap on written form on the Sac Republic news page. So, there's several paragraphs kind of highlighting all the key elements of the match, with opportunities that were sprayed around. There were times, Jared, as you mentioned, we did have times, but it's interesting when I was reading some of the comments that came through on not only Reddit, but, some of the other things, people get so critical of the team, and it's kind of like, give grace. I mean, look what they just did, bump. It was 3 games in such a short amount of time. And, the recovery time is almost like they didn't get a chance to really recover from one game to the next. And again, it was blazes hot in El Paso, of course, humid. I think it was it raining, Jared?
I don't believe it was raining at that point, but then again, I didn't get a chance to get a gander at El Paso's weather. But then again, it is Western Texas. Western Texas tends to be slightly more desert type and humidity as well. And you figure it's the only part of Texas that's not in Central Time Zone. So, of course, there's going to be some jet lag and time zone adjustments here and there. But the 3 matches in 1 week certainly didn't help matters, Amy.
Right. And I know that, Luis, you could pull up the ESPN, but you'd have to search the entire 2 hours worth of match play, because it is the full match is available, but that would waste everybody's time. But at the end of the day, when I saw the score at the end of the night, it made me sad, but it was only 1. We only lost by 1. We tied them in the second half. We lost the first half. That's why sometimes I look at things. It's like, okay, so did we shore things up in the second half to prevent additional goals from being scored on us? And the answer is yes. Second half was we shored ourselves up.
Yeah, but you guys are right. I mean, the rotations, 3 games in a span of 1 week, like that's a lot, especially when you have to also travel out to the other side of the country. And then, to the central part of the country, that's a lot on them, right? To not even be able to go back home after that match. And like I said, I'm glad that they didn't go to extra time, that it was a penalty kick shootout, because it would have been even more intense had they gone to extra time in the mix too. But at the end of the day, 1-0, the goal they scored, I thought, looking at the only video that I saw of the goal, it looked like a wonder goal. I think it's one of those where not much could be done. It's a perfectly placed shot, cleared out by Lee Desmond. It just happened to get to a player who just happened to, pull the right shot right to the side where Danny couldn't get to it. So,
yeah, there was an amazing save just a few seconds before that goal. So all that momentum, it definitely hit Danny. And then once the ball got loose, one of the El Paso players saw a fit opportunity, just tapped it in as far as that goes. But Danny definitely did some work in El Paso. But unfortunately, it just takes one, and that one came through. But I think
gave Rion the penthouse.
Yeah, but then again, I think it was El Paso's way of extracting revenge from the last Northern California versus El Paso night there was, when El Paso lost to the California Storm in the WPSL playoffs, and then we beat El Paso at home on the same night. So I guess it equaled up.
Yeah, and at the very least, some positive news is that we still beat them in the overall head-to-head tie, right? Because we beat them at home. I believe it was 3-0, right? If I'm not mistaken. I remember we scored a few goals. I don't know if I'm wrong, Riano, correct me, but at the very least, we can say that, especially now that as we look at the standings right now, they're right there next to us. But in the event that that's how it ends at the end of the season, we would be above them because again, head to head is the first criteria. It's not goal differential, so at least that's that. But speaking of that, let's go ahead and take a look at the USL standings. How are things looking like for us after this game here? So we're still in second place. That's that. But above us, FC Tulsa looks like they're the Louisville of the West, right? They just keep moving up. At some point, they're already going to be like clinching playoffs. I'd say they're pretty close to reaching that point now because they got 42 points in first. We're in second, sharing with El Paso in third. They're 31 points again because the head-to-head situation that puts us above them. Then you got Uncle Ruckus in fourth with 29 points. Below them, you got Lexington and Phoenix with 28 points. Now, both of them do have one more game than we do, but you don't want to leave it up to that to count, that we're 3 points behind them. And then before that, you have New Mexico and Orange County both with 27 points. They do have one less game than we do. So in the event that they win, they might be 1 point away from us. So take a look at that, which is kind of crazy given that they are in 7th and 8th place. But again, things are still really close in the Western Conference. And then below them, you got Monterey with 24 points, 22 matches played. Then Colorado and Oakland both have 20 matches played, but Colorado's got 24, Oakland 21 points. And then still in last place is Las Vegas Lights with 21 games played and 20 points. A differential of 11 points from us is what separates us from that last place spot, which might seem like a lot, but it really isn't that much, right? You look at like 3 games and then you can have them right there next to you if you lose points in the well. So that is that. And who is our upcoming opponent? As we look there at the standings, it is actually New Mexico, and we're actually going to be traveling once again, another travel, this time out to New Mexico. And New Mexico, 7th place, 27 points, 19 games played. If they win, as I mentioned earlier, they would be 1 point behind us, and that would be bad for us, right? Because they have one less game than we do. So it is a must-win, just as I thought a game against El Paso was a must-win because they were right there close to us. But in this case, yeah, we need to make sure we get some points out of that, even if it's a tie. But you can't give them the 3 points because that could put them right there close to us and potentially above us once they catch up in games played. But what's the recent form look like? On Saturday, they went out to Louisville City. We know it's not an easy place to play at, or in general, playing against them, unless you play against the version we played at home at one point at Argo Park. That shocked us all, if you guys remember, that a while back. But at home at Louisville City, we know they're tough. So they actually tied 0-0 against them there. And before that, they tied, surprisingly, actually at home, 2-2 against Las Vegas Lights. Granted, New Mexico got a red card in that game. Before that, they actually lost 5-2 against the FC Tulsa first place team. And then before that, another goal fest against them, a 4-0 against Hartford Athletic at Hartford. And then before that, they had beat Uncle Ruckus in the USL Cup in penalty kicks, but had previously tied 2-2 in that match. So their form's not looking that great, but it is New Mexico. It is at New Mexico. And Rion, you could give us the data on that, but I think usually when we go to New Mexico, it's not great for us, right? Like they usually have a lead advantage over us when we travel out there.
Yeah, first off, I just want to confirm that we do own the tiebreaker against El Paso thanks to that 3-0 win. But for against New Mexico, historically away at New Mexico, it's been 50-50, 2 wins out of 4 for Sacramento, and then the other 2 were losses. It's been a pretty even contest. 6 goals for Sacramento, 7 goals against for New Mexico. So pretty even between the 2 sides. It's going to be hotly contested, but yeah, I think the last time we went to New Mexico, it was a blowout for New Mexico. So it's a little bit of a trap game for us.
Yeah, but of course this week it's a little different for the team. They have a full week to recover from that busy past week, so we'll see. We'll see how things go, and we'll see how it ends up influencing podcast winter dinner. I'm sure, yeah.
So interestingly enough, everybody remembers that the head coach for New Mexico United was last year's Las Vegas coach. And so he was wildly successful in Las Vegas, bringing that team out of the basement and, going on in playoffs. And then now he's with New Mexico. So that's an interesting factor for us to consider. Granted, Neil wasn't the coach when there was a match against Las Vegas last season, so he doesn't have that institutional memory of playing that coach. So it's kind of cool that Neil's going to come in fresh against New Mexico United's coach. You know what I mean? So it's not like he's got any baggage that way. And from what I hear, Neil does a really good job of instilling confidence in his players to take on whoever they need to take on. One interesting note of the Jägermeister Cup, I read in the news that there was a player transferred out of Hartford Athletic, and it's Mamadou Dieng's. He got transferred to Minnesota United, which he was their leading scorer for Hartford. So now Hartford has to find a new scorer for the Jägermeister Cup, which should we advance, should Hartford advance or not, it bodes well for us. So I just have to think about those things. It's got to keep it in the positive. Imagine ourselves, winning against, Rhode Island on September 10th. So I just had to say that little bit of news that could be impactful down the road. Don't know. Not going to count that chickens before they hatch. Just interesting tidbit. Okay, moving on. Sorry.
Actually, I just want to add on to that. MLS, like the transfer deadline recently came up, and Minnesota United were desperate for a striker, so that's why they signed for Dieng.
Yeah. So, and it's cool because they actually jettisoned off their other striker for a really good transfer fee, right? I think that was the impetus of picking up Dieng, Mamadou. I believe that was the reason behind it. So, anywho, interesting enough. Sometimes we need MLS to help us out, and this might be helpful for us.
Yeah, although I will say I'm actually rooting for the other team that they will be playing
Greenville?
against and hoping Greenville makes it, because that would be really great to see a League One team make it through. In this case, because we're not playing against them, of course, because otherwise I would not be saying that if it was another League One team. But it's cool, right? I mean, there's only one League One team that actually qualified, made it past the group stage, which was not an easy thing. I mean, it was difficult just making it out of the group stage, and so it's interesting to see that.
Yeah. So I noticed that Rion did a costume change. You want to explain yourself, young man?
Yeah, this is just my, normal outfit. I don't know what you're talking about.
Freaking wearing a New Mexico United Meow Wolf jersey.
What, this whole thing? I've been wearing this the entire time.
Yeah. You got to eat that thing. You have to always eat the other team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gotta show off my collection,
Yeah. Showing it off. That's all right.
And this is in no way any means of trying to be on the good side of Blake's Lotta Burgers, based out of New Mexico, with one location in Tucson. But he's going to have to, put it in a burger there, because we're going to end up beating New Mexico. So,
wait, wasn't it the last time that Rian actually wore a rival jersey? Wasn't it when you wore the Monterey jersey, or did you wear an Oakland jersey too? I remember there was a Monterey jersey. Was that the last time?
I'm pretty sure it was the Monterey one, yeah.
Okay. Well, you guys remember what happened last time he wore an opposition jersey? We beat them 1-0. So that might be the thing. And if that's the thing, Rion, you keep buying jerseys of teams we play against. You might have to buy a Rhode Island one, and just keep. And actually, Tampa Bay would be the next one, but Rhode Island would be great.
Yeah,
so we can
Can we get a sponsor just for my shirt collection? That's it. That's all I need.
I may know some folks that may have some Phoenix Rising FC kits that they want to get rid of. So if you want to keep that tradition going, I can see if I can have American Airlines swing by Sky Harbor for me to pick one up for you.
You're killing me. Anyhow, we should move on.
Yeah.
But thank you for the costume change, and hopefully we can they can cry wolf instead of meow wolf. Oh, sorry, that was bad. Really bad.
That's the upcoming game. This Saturday, start time is 6 p.m. So tune into the game there. And looking forward to the following matches. The following Saturday, we're going to be traveling back out to the other side of the country. We're going to be playing against Tampa Bay Rowdies on September 6th, which will be a special game, right? Because we know our head coach used to be there. So we'll see how that goes there. But after that, there's the midweek game, the USL Cup against Rhode Island, assuming they're probably going to do the same thing they did this past game, right? Or they'll probably just go straight to Rhode Island. And then, of course, they got to travel back to Sacramento, play against Phoenix Rising at home. And then they travel out to a never easy to play at Colorado Springs, right, on September 20th. So, they're going to have some traveling in between. Hopefully, they're not too tired to play against Phoenix. There's a lot going on there. But as we mentioned, coach is going to give priority to USL Cup, as he should, because we're so close to a potential trophy there. So we'll see how that goes. And we actually might potentially connect with our Rhode Island podcast friends here and see if we can have them on the following podcast to talk about them. So be on the lookout for that. Maybe the following one, maybe the one after that, one of the two. We'll try and have them on so we could see how Rhode Island is actually doing before that match.
Sounds great.
All right. Well, the moment that Sharon has not been waiting for, but Rian has been waiting for, and we'll see what gets talked about here. But let's go ahead and talk about how we did in this last week for podcast winner dinner. So let me just share the tab here so we can look at the points that were given out. So as y'all know, the cup gives out points, and there will be more points to be given out because we're going to move on to semifinals. But in this match, few points are given out. So Sharon got 1 point for the first Sacramento yellow card. Jared got 2 points. He guessed Russell was getting the first yellow card and a Sacramento yellow card. I also got 2 points. I guess Sac getting the first yellow card and Sacramento getting the win in the penalty kicks was what we all got points for. And then Rian got a point for Sac getting the first yellow card and also, again, the penalty kick team winner. So that was that. So 3 of us got 2 points. Sharon got 1 point. And then moving on to this past Saturday's game, despite the loss, there were actually some points given out. So Sharon and Jared both got 1 point out of Sacramento getting the first yellow card. I didn't get anything. I thought Paso would get the first yellow card, but referees, as always, were after us. And then Rian got 2 points, a key 2 points, as y'all see right now, for getting the El Paso 1-0 win, and with Sac getting the first yellow card. So our standings are as follows. We now have a new first place team member here. We got Rian in the first place spot, 27 points. Sharon and Jared sharing second place with 26 points, and I'm still in the basement with 23 points. But the battle for first place is getting intense. We got a new first place member.
I was going to let you borrow my State of the Republic trucker hat, Rian, but deal's off.
No, I'll just take my crown. I'll just have my crown with me.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to get you a Burger King crown.
I'll take it. Luis, I have a special request. Can we just have this episode, but it's only podcast winner dinner, just when we release it? Forget everything else. Just this segment.
Oh, Lord.
He's a spoiled boy. Goes to the kitchen 4 times in his life. I've gone 0, and now he thinks he can just have the episode how he wants it. Okay, fine. Oh, he leaves.
Is he trying to get something? Where is he going to get?
Yeah, he's going to go get a crown. He's going to get the crown. He's going to crown his downtown or whatever. I don't know.
No, that's the other group.
He has
Oh.
Oh my God, he thinks he's gonna already be crowned. That's so presumptuous.
Ah.
Jeez,
Come on, bring it on.
bring it on. Yeah. I got your crown.
Should have been the crown. Where's it at?
Oh man.
Yeah, right.
There
So
you go.
I guess Luis, based on where he is, he's the court jester.
Well, now I guess the question is he going to be able to hold on to that lead?
Let's just end it here. Forget the rest of the contest. Let's just call it here.
Call it here.
Anyone else agree to that? No? Oh.
No.
No, there's still playoffs, so we
I
can't.
still stand
You need a
for-
champion. Still.
Hey, I've got to get Nate. Nate, if you're listening to this, you gotta hit me with some good predictions. You know, there was somebody who said something to me on Monday, I believe it was, and they were saying something about how I should go with my predictions based on. Oh my God, I forget what it was, but whoever it was that said whatever you said about predictions. Oh, it was somebody who sent me a private message. I'll find it later. But anyhow, thank you for that. I will have to look into what you said. And who I can't remember your name. Richard, John. I'll find you.
Well, I'm thinking we'll probably have some proxies still in this tournament if you guys are in agreement with that. We'll have to figure out what game that is for, but
you'll never know if I have a proxy because I'm going to keep it quiet.
Oh,
it was Chris Crawford. Thank you, Chris. He goes, so I have a theory that might help with podcasting. He's on my side. I don't know, maybe not. He said, the boys have been up and down every other game. They scored 2 to 4 goals one week and then 0 to 1 the next. It's been like that for the last month or so. As soon as we are fired up that they can score, they fail. Case in point, Oakland, 3 goals. Loudoun, 0. We'll see what Saturday brings. My guess is they score 3 or 4. Well, Chris, you're wrong. They scored none. All right. So now I think is when we're going to score goals. We'll against New Mexico away. That's a tough one. Maybe when we're back home. Chris, I'll take you up on that.
yeah. So with that, let's go ahead and move on to that New Mexico game. Give our predictions for that. So Rian, since you're almost declaring yourself, you're declaring yourself the winner, but that's an unofficial statement because there's still a lot left in the season.
I'm making it official.
Yeah, I mean, this still staying here until end of playoffs. So, and in fact, it's going to stay here, as I mentioned earlier. It's not going to go anywhere. That's my prediction. And if it doesn't stay here, it'll make its way out of state.
Exactly. And if I do end up winning it, the first picture I'm taking with it, I'm going to be holding a Whataburger patty melt with it. So,
so Rian, go ahead and start us off with your predictions, and then we'll just go in like reverse order here from the screen.
Sounds good. Okay, so for New Mexico, it was not that long ago that New Mexico was leading the Western Conference, but they've gone on a recent skid lately. Their last win in 90 minutes being the June 21st match against Uncle Ruckus. Since then, they've gone on a 8-game streak with no wins. Then again, Sacramento, last time they won in New Mexico, it was back in 2022 when Ketko and Douglas Martinez scored there. I see a 2-0 win for Sacramento. I think New Mexico doesn't have the pieces to resurrect the win here. My goal scorers will be Russell. And if he doesn't see the pitch, I'm going to go with Christian. For assist, I'm going to go with Jack with Russell as my backup. First yellow, I'm going to go with New Mexico. And for the Republic, I'm going to go with... let's go with Michelle again.
All right, for my predictions, I'm going to go with a Sac 2-1 win. And then for the first goal scorer, I'm going to go with, let's see, I'm going to go with Seba. If he doesn't see the pitch, then I'll go with Russell. For the first assist, I'll go with Jack. If he doesn't see the pitch, I'll go with Nick. First yellow card, I'm going to go with Saka in the first yellow card. And then for the first player to get the card, I'm going to go with Freddie again. I'm sorry, Freddie, but you've gotten me points, and I know you can give me a point again. Jared.
All right. Well, even with New Mexico's slipping as of late, I'm thinking they're still going to put up a fight, but ultimately it's going to be Republic 1-0. For my goal scorer, I am going to go with Christian, and if he doesn't see the pitch, I'm going to go with AJ. Assist, I am going to go with Nick, and my backup is going to be Blake Willie. I think even though we're playing in the land of yellow, I think it's going to be Republic that gets the yellow first. And then my yellow, I am going to go with Jared Turner. For some reason, they nitpick over him getting a call.
Excellent. You know, looking at and listening to Rion, they've been drawing a lot. New Mexico has. There are a lot of tie games. And they tie with goals and some they tie with no goals kind of a thing. So this one's a hard one because they do know how to score, right, Rion? Even though they've drawn or whatever, they can score a goal. So I kind of like Luis's prediction of a 2-1, but I just have a feeling it's going to be another freaking draw. For some reason, I don't know why I feel a draw coming on, but I think I'm going to go with a 2-1. I don't think I'm confident for a shutout, even though our defense is so good. I think it's going to be a draw. Now, I'm also going to go with Russell as the first goal scorer, but my backup is going to be Roro. And my assist is going to be Jack. And then my backup on that is going to be Ro. I mean, why not? And I think in this case, I don't know. It seems like Sacramento away always gets a yellow, but I think it's going to be New Mexico. And my pick for the first yellow, who's the hothead on the team? You know, I want to say Freddie's not a hothead, but he gets called. But I'm still thinking it's going to be Russell because I've seen him pull a yellow or two. Watch, it'll be Roro. That's it.
All right. So, and looking at Sharon Rion, which has become the new podcast entertainer rivalry here, it seems like Russell's you're shared and Jack for the first assist, right? And also New Mexico in the first yellow card. So there's a lot of common thread right there, right? So if the game is 2-0, let's not be surprised if you hear some celebrations from Elk Grove if New Mexico scores a goal.
You know, if Rion does a drive by my house and lights a firecracker, I'm gonna so come after you, dude. Your ass is grass. I swear to God, if you do any kind of weird celebrations, duh.
Sharon's about to say, Weed Whacker goes.
Now, what kind of car do you drive, Rion? I need to know this.
I drive a Lamborghini Gallardo.
Yeah, right. Okay. I've been to the kitchen 4 times.
I drive a school bus.
They can't even get down our court. You know, yeah. Just don't tell me you drive a garbage truck because they come on Wednesdays.
I drive a airplane.
I am gonna hunt you down, mister. I am so gonna.
All of a sudden, Sharon sees a 1984 Yugo going down the road.
That Rion picked up in the junkyard just to harass me. It still runs. Can it get me to Elk Grove?
You have to put it in H. Put it in H.
All right, yo. Well,
okay.
Last final parting words here before we say, good morning, good night, wherever you're listening to us, and wait till next Saturday and watch the game once again on TV, but only for one more week because they'll be back home in about 2 weeks here.
Yeah. So I don't know what time this is going to be released, but there's a fundraiser at Raising Cane's for the Sacramento Unified team, Sac Republic Unified team that's going to be matching up against the Tower Bridge Battalion. Also, all these things are fundraisers to get our Unified team to, I think it's Colorado, for another match. So that'll be cool. So if you are willing to donate, you could just flat out donate. I did. Or you can attend if the podcast is released soon enough. You can attend Raising Cane's. I think it's tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. I posted it, but then I didn't even think about what the date was. So those sorts of things. And if anybody's listening, you know how much I adore Rion. Just saying. Just saying. Go Republic.
All right, and keeping on the topic of the Sacramento Republic United squad, Tower Bridge Battalion is also asking for players to participate in their match against the Unified team. You can also buy jerseys. They do have jerseys on sale. If you're going to be playing, it's $30. Non-players, $35. And for an additional charge, you can even also get it personalized. Go visit Tower Bridge Battalion's website or their Facebook group for more information, and go Republic.
Yeah, so I've been out for the past week, but I will be returning to normal article stuff. This week I should have a stats recap for the last 5 matches for the Republic in the league. And yeah, go Republic.
Once again, another reminder, if you haven't placed your deposit for the new stadium, go place it ASAP. Keep in mind the new stadium is only going to have a capacity of 12,000 people, so there's a potential of you not being able to attend that first match if you don't place your deposit now, because you would be second in priority. If you want to be first in priority, then get your season tickets for next year's season, and you will be first. But if you leave a deposit, they have I believe 3 different options for a deposit. Most affordable one being in the supporter section, $9.16. Of course, you know what they did there. So really affordable. It's I believe it's a refundable deposit too, but all that does is just ensure that you have your place online when it comes to actually being able to pick your seats. So do that if you haven't yet, because again, I think the likelihood of being able to get a ticket for that first match is going to be really low, unless there's someone trying to sell theirs on that day. But everyone's going to be wanting me to be there at the stadium in 2027. So make sure that you're able to be there and in the presence of history there in Sacramento, in downtown. All right. Well, as usual, y'all, thank you so much for listening or watching if you chose to watch this episode on YouTube. As always, check us out, sacsoccerpod.com, so you could check out Rion's All Quell blog, listen to past episodes. Now on the episode podcast page on the website, I also include the video portion of the episode. So if you want to watch or listen, it's the same link on the website. So you have both options there. Or if you just want to go on the videos tab, you can also check them out on there. You can also contact us, whether it's through a voicemail or through leaving a form on the website. If you have your thoughts about a past game or the new stadium, whatever you want to tell us more about in the world of Central Valley soccer, let us know on there on the website. You can also review the podcast. If you guys are able to, that would be great. You could review the podcast strictly on the website, or you could also, of course, go on Apple Podcasts, leave your review on there, leave a rating on Spotify, and so forth. So shout out to everyone who's left a rating or a comment at some point. Really appreciate that. And with that being said, y'all, we hope, again, you have a good morning or good night whenever you're listening or watching us, and you'll hear us or watch us next week here on Stay the Republic podcast.
Cue the music.